have our winter storm here in Northeast Ohio. We're going to continue to see an uptick in the snow across the area, too. Farther to the south, we are still dealing with a sleet mix, and this is kind of the changeable situation as far as this forecast goes, because this is going to stay put for another few hours, and then late evening we'll finally get some cold air to swing in here, and that should change everything as far as that sleet mix over to snow later tonight. But we are definitely having some big impacts. The roads are a mess, slow going, and if you're a confident snow driver, you're probably going to be okay. If you are an overconfident snow driver, that's when things get a little bit complicated. So the roads are definitely going to be an issue for the evening commute. We have a 4 o'clock newscast coming up today. We're going to focus in on traffic and more about this weather forecast, because look at what is coming our way. Remember yesterday we were saying beware the second wave? This is the second wave. We are just getting into it, and we will continue to see these moderate to heavy snow rates for the next couple of hours, probably next few hours. We'll start to see all of that backing off once we get past 10, 11 o'clock, and then that will swing out of here as we go through the day tomorrow. Again, we'll see you again at 4 o'clock.
Good afternoon and welcome into our 3 News Winter Storm extended digital coverage. I'm Sarah Shookman. You were just hearing from our chief meteorologist, Betsy Kling. Snow and sleet are showing no signs of stopping, and they won't be for the next 12 hours. So we have crews braving the conditions for up-to-the-minute updates. And let's turn now to Hunter Sines, who is here in Cleveland, helping us out from our sister station in Charlotte. Hunter, thank you so much for bundling up and being here with us. What are you seeing downtown?
Hi there, we are here in downtown Cleveland here on Euclid and East 9th Street. And you can see some people are out walking around. We've seen some people carrying some groceries home, things of that nature. Traffic is smooth for right now. Those few people who are out and about, the good thing here is the roads are at least bearable, but you do want to take it slow. We have seen some fishtailing when we've been driving through downtown Cleveland, some people getting stuck especially when they're turning and such. But right now we have seen the plows out clearing as much of the snow as they can, but the snow continues to come down here in downtown. Of course, I'd say the biggest brutal part of this whole winter storm right now is the wind, especially when you're in between these buildings. But like I said, for the most part, a lot of people here who are traveling through here are getting by safely thanks to a lot of the plows that we have seen here in downtown. That's the very latest on the conditions. We'll send it back to you.
That's good to see. Of course, a lot of people curious how the city of Cleveland would handle this, another big storm of this winter. Time now to get back to the chief, Betsy Kling. She's going to be breaking this all down in detail, warning us what was coming, and that second wave that she said we're just like starting to get into, right, Betsy?
Yeah, that is the big thing, is there's a lot of people who have been saying, well, where is it? Well, now it's here. This is where you get that gif out that's like, wait for it, and boom, now it's here. Okay, so we are far from the end of this. We've got hours of snow still to go. The sleet that persists farther south in Canton and Dover, New Philadelphia, over to Carrollton, that sleet will continue this evening. That's been the wrinkle in the plans for those folks, is how long and how persistent that has been. Meanwhile, farther north, steady snow for Akron and north, and then points west. We have 6 inches of snow reported around a good chunk of the west side of Cleveland. Down into Mansfield, they've got 4 to 6 inches of snow on the ground, 7 inches out west in the Norwalk area. So we do have a bit of snow, and it is all blowing and drifting. The fluff factor will continue to go up as we head through the night. That means all the snow that is falling will be moving with these windy conditions. So that is an issue for visibility. It's also an issue for the roads, because there is no way the road crews are going to keep up. From now through the night, I would probably say till about 11 o'clock or so, the road crews are not going to keep up. So if you don't have to go out, definitely don't do it. At the same time the wind is blowing around the snow, it's also dropping the wind chills, and we have a frigid night on tap and a really cold day tomorrow too. Why is everything locked in? Well, this huge storm system that stretches thousands of miles across the eastern half of the country. It is a dynamic, which means it's changing, and it is multifaceted. So we not only have the severe winter weather, we also have severe summer-type stormy weather with tornadoes reported on the ground in parts of western Alabama. There was a tornado watch down that way. On the northern flank of that line of severe storm activity, you can see right here coming through western Kentucky, western Tennessee, kind of this plume of moisture. That is the second wave. We have to wait until all of this gets to the panhandle of West Virginia, and that is when we will finally start to be in winding down mode. So we are still in ramping up mode at this point. And I mentioned that persistent sleet. Look at the line, and look how this line is holding. Meteorologically, this is pretty freaking awesome how this is laid out, because we have the freezing rain that is going on in southern Ohio, which is not good. We have the sleet that stretches from, let's say, north of Zanesville up to Canton. And then north of that, we get that heavy snow. And look at what's still to come with those heavy snow rates. We have a lot of snow that is still going to be falling. And of course, as I mentioned, the fluff factor goes up. Frigid air spilling into the area, not just at the surface, but we're going to cool the entire air column above us. And that's where we start to get it into game mode. So the ice storm warnings down in the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys were expanded clear up into central Ohio. Meanwhile, we are still under a winter storm warning. It's going to continue until tomorrow morning, then it will come down. The snow will be winding down tomorrow, but we have a frigid day on tap. There is how the snow has been going around the area. You may notice that it is kind of coming in pulses, and these pulses will become more frequent and longer as this next wave moves in. So heavy snow, Portage County, Summit, Medina, back through Wayne County, Ashland and Richland counties, southern Wayne County, and probably I would have to say I think that's 528 is that road that goes from Route 21 in southern Summit County over to Doylestown and then down to Worcester. It's 520 something. It's either 525 or 528. I think it's 528. But anyway, south of that line, that's where the sleet is. And the sleet is also to the south of Summit County, or south of Akron in southern Summit County. Far southern Tuscarawas and Carroll counties, this is primarily freezing rain with some sleet mixing in from time to time. We're hearing from the National Weather Service office in Pittsburgh that they are getting glazing of ice on surfaces up to 1/4 of an inch that's been reported. The correlation coefficient, this is a tool in the radar that we love to use for these types of situations. This basically shows us what is not similar. This has great similarity in its shapes and its presentation, so that is all snow. Farther to the south, this orange area, that is the sleet. And the closer it is to the red, we probably have a little bit of snow mixing in. Farther to the south, that is a rain-sleet mix. But you can see how widespread this sleet is. As I say that, know that that whole line that I was talking about with this storm that is still to come is lining up right on this line. There's a 20-minute or 20-mile difference in distance between Akron and Canton. We will have a huge accumulation gradient from Akron to Canton because this line isn't going to be moving. Later tonight, we will have some cold air that swings in, and that will then push this line south. We will see Akron and Canton and Wayne County, Worcester, over toward Dalton, down into Millersburg and Dover, New Philadelphia, Carrollton, Leesville. All these areas will change to snow later tonight. And when that happens, now you have a sleet accumulation. We're going to throw a few inches of snow on top of that. You're far from seeing the end of it too. So even though you don't have the pretty flakes and 8 to 11 inches of snow in your forecast, you have some pretty painful times coming your way with some slick conditions because of the sleet and that snow that's going to be on top of it. So really the ice zone, remember at the first kind of start of this, we kind of broke it down into zones: the snow zone, the transition zone, and the ice zone. And we said that based on how the storm moves, we were going to be adjusting the zones. And the zones, we put them down into Tuscarawas and Carroll counties, and primarily that's where the freezing rain is. The sleet zone, that transition zone, is pretty much on par with exactly where we had it. There's those fine little mechanics of trying to boil it down to a 20-mile difference. But here's a look at the roads. And you can see they're pretty messy out there. Where you see the greens, that doesn't mean it's magically 70 and sunny with black dry pavement. It just basically means that the roads may not have as many cars on them at this time. But look at all the accidents. And we are expecting more to come. The turnpike has been closed at times today in certain sections. 76 was closed for a while, I think, down in the Akron area. So we still have some pretty painful commute times coming this evening. If you have a loved one who's out and they are at work or you're expecting them to come home, make sure you advise them they will need extra time, and a lot of extra time possibly. Here is the intensity of the snowfall rates as we head through the rest of the evening. This uptick continues all the way past 8 o'clock, and I really don't think we're going to see these snowfall rates backing off until late night tonight. This is for Greater Cleveland. For Akron and Canton and points south, your heavy snow rates are just kind of blanked across the way, and we will probably see this heavy snow back off after midnight for Akron and probably after about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning farther south. I have no idea why I have a blank map. That's fun. Okay, let's take a look at, at some cams here. This is 90 in Westlake. Look at that. We have heavy snow that is coming down. Look at this road. I mean, this is what you're going to run into if you still have to go out and about. This is also what the commute is going to be running into. So you can imagine if it's snowing now and we already have these conditions, the road crews, there's no way they're going to keep up. So pack the patience, lots of extra time. You know the drill. We've been through this before. The real game changer is that slush, though, and that slush is prevalent across all of Northeast Ohio. It mixed with the snow, and as the temperatures cool tonight, that's going to harden up and freeze up, and we are still expecting some big complications from that. There it is. There's a plow. Okay, everybody, write it down. 3 p.m., there was a plow on I-90 at Eddy Road. They are out. I promise they are out. They are working long hours and working very hard to keep up with the storm, but the fact of the matter is they won't. This is probably about as good as it's going to be for the rest of the evening on the east side of Cleveland. Look at Ashland. What a sloppy mess. Heavy snow on the roads, lots of gloppy, slushy snow, and the one sole person oh, there's another one. Waiting. Oh, there's 3. Okay, there's folks out. But as you can see, they definitely have some challenges going on. Hopefully he's got some salt or kitty litter or, you know, the tires in the back of the truck. And that might be a little redneck. But anyway, we do have the weight issues with those pickup trucks that need to be addressed. Akron South. This picture an hour ago looked different. Notice right here, this is at Arlington Road, and we had black, wet pavement an hour ago. Now it's starting to slush up, get ice covered. Look at 77 here, snow covered, icy, nasty mess. This is not going to change. It just stays with us. New Philadelphia, this is kind of the area where we have that sleet and freezing rain mix that's been going on through the day today. There's a lot of ice that's on the road. Look here. So this is a very slick situation, and I've been watching the trucks kind of going around the corners and whatnot, and they're not zipping by, believe me. I saw one not too long ago that went by, and it kicked up a lot of road spray. So we know we have wet roads on top of the ice and all that. That's going to continue to freeze up as we go through the night. So this is a situation that continues to change, as expected. We knew there were going to be changes, but the big picture is still very much on track and online. We have frigid temperatures setting up for tonight. Wind chills are going to be dropping. Air temperatures are going to be dropping. This is where the fluff factor of the snow comes in. As we have intense snow coming in, it will be fluffier. It's going to add up faster. I've had a couple people who said, gosh, it was not bad this morning. We had, you know, a little bit of snow, and then all of a sudden at 2 o'clock, we got like 3 inches of snow. Well, that's the fluff factor. It's getting cold. So those ice crystals and the snowflakes are a little hardier. Meanwhile, farther south, we still have this darn sleet mix going on, even 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. By about 8 or 9, that's when we should really get into seeing this push of cold air from north to south that will finally kick out that sleet. But we still have heavy snow coming down, and we will continue to have the heavy snow coming down until the second wave goes by us, and that's probably not till the midnight hour. And you can see we get some drier air in here and we break up the snow. We're not quite done yet. The bulk of the heaviest snow will be falling this afternoon and this evening for Cleveland. I would have to say we're looking at an overnight situation for Akron and points south because that snow is rather persistent. Tomorrow morning, we may have another wave that comes in that drops a little accumulation on top of whatever we get tonight. You're probably not even going to notice it because of the blowing and drifting, but maybe another couple inches tomorrow morning out of this round of snow that comes in, and then we finally will be done. Afternoon tomorrow, we will start to see that storm moving out. That will set us up for a frigid afternoon, evening, and overnight on Friday. We're probably going below zero in most of the area, but we will be drying out. Total sleet and snow accumulations, that means storm total, including what we already have. We're looking at 8 to 11 inches of snow around greater Cleveland and points south. Areas to 13. This is where the fluff factor comes in because we will have areas where, and the blowing and drifting, good luck measuring, but the 13-inch range is certainly possible, especially considering we have 6 inches already on the ground west of Cleveland. Farther south, where we've had that sleet mix, we will have less accumulation, but it is a wetter accumulation of sleet and snow. That line, I have been moving this line back and forth by 10 miles and 20 miles. That is not a big difference. So if you're in Canton versus Akron, just know you will get a different amount of snow more likely than what Akron does and points north. It'll probably be less, but it all depends upon how quickly the sleet finally gets out of here. Southern sections of Tuscarawas and Carroll County, we're looking at that glazing of ice that you already have. We're going to throw some snow on top of that, probably in the order of 2 to 5 inches, I think. The initial snow will come down and it'll kind of get sucked into all of the slush. So we lose a couple inches just in water, and then we'll start to see the fluff factor going up as things cool. We still have very high impacts on the roads. We still have high impacts in the air. School closings everywhere today. Tomorrow, now we're starting to see some places that may be able to open, but I think we will have a lot of school closings tomorrow too. And the power outages, with this wind blowing and we have ice on some of these trees and heavy snow, we could still see the power outages. It's not as worrisome as it looked yesterday, but as Friday goes on, all of these conditions will be improving ever so slowly. So that's the update for this top of the hour. We'll be back. We're going to have a 4 o'clock newscast today. We have a 5 o'clock, which we always have, the 6, the 7, and the 11. And we will continue to, of course, pump out updates on the app online, WKYC.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Betsy Kling. I'm putting out updates as I can. Also on Instagram at Betsy Kling and on Facebook. We're all in it, friends, and this is it. We're kind of coming up to the top of the mountain right now, and then later tonight we'll start to descend very carefully as this storm winds down. Hang in there, everybody. Stay safe. Be patient. We'll get it to the backside of this as we get to the day tomorrow.